2024's latest American thriller, Cuckoo. In its opening month, Cuckoo dominated the North American box office for 2 consecutive weeks, grossing an impressive $65 million. The story begins with an invitation. Renowned designer Luis takes his family to a luxurious 5-star hotel in the Bavarian Alps. Even before they step out of the car, the hotel's enthusiastic owner, Koenig, greets them warmly. Koenig has invited Luis to help redesign the hotel. Seeing this as an opportunity to relax with his family, Luis agrees to take on the project. To make their stay comfortable, Koenig arranges for the family to stay in a private villa halfway up the mountain, surrounded by breathtaking scenery. Gretchen, Luis's daughter, feels at ease as she takes in the view and heads to her room for some rest. But just as she lies down, Koenig and Luis knock on her door with an offer. The hotel needs an English translator, and Koenig is willing to pay her triple the standard rate. Seeing an easy way to make money, Gretchen accepts. The next morning, Gretchen reports for work at the front desk, where she meets Beatrice, a fellow staff member. Beatrice explains that the hotel's rooms are scattered across the mountainside as standalone villas. Gretchen's job is simple: assign rooms to arriving guests. Before leaving, Beatrice gives her a firm warning: make sure to lock up by 10 p.m. It's not safe out here after dark. While the two were chatting, a female guest suddenly felt unwell. Gretchen turned around and noticed a white car parked at the hotel entrance. A man inside kept glancing toward the hotel. Gretchen recalled seeing the same car in the same spot when they arrived yesterday. At the time, she thought the man was just an unlicensed taxi driver and didn't pay much attention. The day's work passed quickly. That evening, Gretchen lay on her bed, playing the guitar and singing. Just as she settled in, her younger sister Alma entered the room to play with her. However, the moment Alma stepped into the room, the sound of a cuckoo bird echoed from the forest. Hearing the call, Alma seemed entranced and began to tremble strangely. Gretchen noticed something was wrong. She approached Alma to check on her, but as soon as she touched Alma, something bizarre happened. Gretchen suddenly found herself back at the edge of the bed. She had no recollection of what just occurred. Seeing Alma's strange condition, Gretchen stepped forward again, but the moment she did, time rewound once more. When Gretchen came to her senses, Alma was still trembling in place. She hurried forward to check on Alma, but was suddenly thrown backward by her. The commotion drew Luis and his wife to the room. Staring at the inexplicable scene, Gretchen froze in confusion. She couldn't remember what had just happened, but the eerie events weren't over yet. The next evening, Gretchen was dozing off at the front desk when a guest arrived to check in. As Gretchen was registering the guest, a woman suddenly ran to the shelf and started drinking from a bottle. After finishing the drink, the woman turned and walked out of the lobby. When Gretchen finished checking in the guest and chased after her, the woman was already gone. Helpless, Gretchen could only resign herself to her fate, lock the doors and windows, and get ready to go home on her bicycle. But as soon as she left, Gretchen noticed something strange. A dark figure flashed quickly through the forest beside her. At first, Gretchen thought she imagined it, but the next moment, the figure appeared behind her. Seeing the strange woman, Gretchen froze in fear. She pedaled faster, trying to escape, but no matter how much she accelerated, the woman stayed right behind her. In a panic, Gretchen spotted a hospital up ahead. She abandoned her bike and ran toward the hospital. With the strange woman still chasing her, Gretchen accidentally crashed into the hospital's glass doors. Looking back, she saw the woman had reached the entrance. Just as the woman was about to open the door, a police car happened to pass by, and some doctors came out after hearing the noise. But when Gretchen looked up again, the strange woman was gone. Gretchen told the police what had happened, but they hadn't seen any woman despite being nearby the whole time. The police only saw Gretchen frantically running into the hospital and crashing into the doors. Hearing this, Gretchen was dumbfounded. Did she encounter something supernatural? At that moment, Gretchen saw her parents walking down the corridor with Alma. Seeing Gretchen at the hospital, Luis seemed puzzled. It turned out Alma's convulsions the previous day weren't just an ordinary illness but epilepsy. Luis told Gretchen to get her wounds treated while he took Alma to her hospital room. Her father's cold indifference left Gretchen feeling resentful. The next morning, Gretchen resumed her usual work at the hotel. The unlicensed taxi driver suddenly appeared in the lobby. He pulled out his badge and introduced himself as Henry, a police officer. Henry asked Gretchen about the strange woman she had encountered the night before. Gretchen once again recounted everything that had happened. Henry told Gretchen that if she encountered the strange woman again, she must contact him immediately. The unsettling events in the small town left Gretchen deeply uneasy. Was there truly something sinister here? While she was still troubled, Ed, the guest who checked in the night before, approached the front desk. Noticing Gretchen seemed upset, Ed invited her out for a drive to clear her mind. Gretchen, still in a bad mood, accepted the invitation. However, as soon as they left the hotel, an eerie bird call echoed from the forest. The sound caused Ed to lose consciousness instantly. Before Gretchen could react, the strange woman from the night before appeared in the middle of the road. The next moment, Gretchen opened her eyes to find the car overturned on the roadside. As she tried to call for help, she saw the strange woman approaching. The woman grabbed Ed and threw him aside. Gretchen struggled to escape, but her seatbelt held her in place. Before she could react, the strange woman lunged toward her. Just as Gretchen was about to give up hope, a car passed by, and when she regained consciousness, she was already in the hospital, with her father in Koenig by her side. Gretchen tried to tell her father about the strange events, but instead of comforting her, he blamed her for causing trouble. Her father's cold indifference broke Gretchen's heart. Why had he changed so much? While Gretchen was still wrestling with confusion, Henry arrived at the hospital once more. It turned out Henry was the one who rescued Gretchen the night before, but he wasn't a local police officer. A month earlier, Henry and his wife had come to the town for a vacation, where they also encountered the strange woman. The woman's strange sounds lured Henry outside, and when he returned, he found his wife dead from suffocation. The police discovered a large amount of vomit in her throat, which caused her death. However, neither Henry nor his wife had been drinking, and she had no prior health conditions. How could she have died so suddenly? Henry believed his wife was murdered by the strange woman, but without evidence, the police refused to investigate further. Determined to uncover the truth, Henry stayed in the town. He suspected the strange woman had now targeted Gretchen and warned her that she would return. He asked for her help to catch the strange woman. Hearing Henry's story about vomiting, Gretchen recalled the female guest from her first day at work. Her condition seemed eerily similar to Henry's wife. That night, Henry and Gretchen visited the house rented by the guest. Before entering, they saw the strange woman inside the bedroom. The woman lightly touched the guest, causing her to collapse on the bed unconscious. Henry clearly saw a strange, viscous fluid on the woman's hands. She seemed to be trying to inject the fluid into the guest's body. Henry and Gretchen burst into the room, startling the strange woman. She turned and jumped out the window. As the woman disappeared into the distance, Gretchen grew increasingly uneasy. Back at home, Gretchen tried to tell her father about the strange occurrences in the town, but as soon as she entered, she saw Koenig whispering something to Alma. Sensing something was wrong, Gretchen angrily confronted Koenig, demanding to know the identity of the strange woman. Koenig remained silent but pulled out a small flute. As soon as the sound of the flute filled the room, Gretchen lost consciousness. Koenig sprayed something from a small bottle onto Gretchen, causing her to collapse to the ground. When Gretchen awoke, she found herself locked in a strange room. Outside the room, the eerie bird call echoed again, and a disheveled woman appeared in the corner. Gretchen grabbed a bedboard to use as a weapon, but the strange sound from the woman reset time, and she inexplicably returned to her original spot. When Gretchen looked up, the woman was now behind her. The woman lightly touched Gretchen, causing her to collapse onto the bed. At that moment,